Welcome to South Asia Today, a show that provides you the glimpses of South Asia. I'm your host Yeshi. Here are the headlines. India-ASEAN foreign ministers meet in New Delhi to discuss global issues. Battered by economic crisis, Sri Lankans hurry for passports to better lives. And people protest in Gilgit-Baltistan over irregularities in recruitment of teachers. Let's begin the show. New Delhi recently hosted the first India-ASEAN foreign ministers meeting with an aim to increase engagement in the Indo-Pacific region. The event, which marked the 30th anniversary of the group, discussed ways to boost cooperation and wide-ranging global issues. We have a report.
ASEAN, a 10-nation grouping, is considered one of the most influential groupings in Southeast Asia. With an aim to discuss global issues including the Russia-Ukraine conflict and sharpening rivalry between the US and China, the foreign ministers of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations met in New Delhi. It was the first ever meeting hosted by India to boost the relation between ASEAN countries and mark the 30th anniversary of relations with the grouping. Singapore Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan warned of a growing US-China rivalry that could threaten regional stability. He also said the rivalry between the US and China can threaten decades of growth achieved by Asian countries.
The sharpening superpower rivalry between the United States and China has direct implications on all of us in Asia. So these developments, if unchecked, can threaten the whole system of peace and stability which we have depended on for the basis of our growth, our development and prosperity over many decades. The world has also changed rapidly in the last few months, and by that I'm of course referring to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which in our view has upended the international system of rules and norms and international law, which we all depend on and operate on the basis of.
ASEAN countries share concerns about China's assertiveness, including its claim of sovereignty over vast swaths of South China Sea, where several have rival claims. Trade, investment and mutual cooperation in security and defense between India and ASEAN countries have grown in recent years. Indian Foreign Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar reiterated New Delhi's support for a unified ASEAN and called for a strengthening of ties between India and ASEAN. He also stated that ASEAN has provided a foundation for the evolving strategic and economic architecture in the Indo-Pacific.
ASEAN's role today is perhaps more important than ever before, given the geopolitical challenges and uncertainties that the world faces. India fully supports a strong, unified and prosperous ASEAN, one whose centrality in the Indo-Pacific is fully recognized. A better connected India and ASEAN would be well positioned to promote decentralized globalization and resilient and reliable supply chains that is so needed by the international community.
India and several other countries, including the US, China, Japan and Australia, are dialogue partners of ASEAN. The ASEAN-India dialogue relations started with the establishment of a sectoral partnership in 1992. This graduated to full dialogue partnership in December 1995 and summit-level partnership in 2002.
Moving on to Sri Lanka. The island nation's worsening economic crisis with inflated price increments and scarcity of essentials growing is making life increasingly hard for the middle classes and below. Now, Sri Lankans are queuing outside Immigration and Emigration Department headquarters for days, hoping to get a passport and with it, a chance to leave the country, wilting under an economic crisis.
Hundreds of people have amassed before collection counters nearby, hoping it will be their turn to collect a new passport soon. along with the ability to lead the South Asian nation as it weathers the worst financial crisis in 7 decades. Sri Lanka's Department of Immigration and Immigration is under tremendous work pressure as it is receiving unprecedented new passport applications every day. At the Immigration Department, lines snake outside onto the street and around the corner. People have felt even more urgency to leave after new Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe warned a food crisis is only months away.
මේ අධික තදබදය නිසා සාමාන්‍ය සේවා ගමන් බලපත්‍රයක් නිකුත් කිරීමට අපිට සාමාන්‍ය මාසක විතර කාලයක් ගත වෙනවා. ඔව් සමහර විශාල පිරිසක් පැමිණීම නිසා නිලධාරීන්ට අනවශ්‍ය පීඩනයක් සහ තර්ජනයක් එල්ලවෙන අවස්ථා අපිට සුලභව දකින්නට ලැබෙනවා. ඒක නිසා අපි ඒ අවස්ථාවේදී පොලිසිය ආරක්ෂාව ලබා ගැනීමට කටයුතු කරනවා.
It takes nearly a month in Sri Lanka to get your passport procedure done. However, in these desperate times when the application stacks are only growing with the day, both the authorities and the applicants are uncertain of the dates as to when will they receive their document. According to government data, in the first 5 months of 2022, Sri Lanka has issued 288,645 passports compared with 91,331 in the same period last year.
දැන් දවස් 3ක් පෙරේදා මම මෙහෙනේ ටින්කෝ අපි ටින්කෝ ඉඳලා ආවේ පෙරේදා හවස 4ට එහෙන් ආවේ. තාම ඉතින් මේ පොලිමේ තාම පාස්පෝර්ට් එකට ෆෝම් ටික බාර දෙන්න බැරි වුණා.
Hundreds of Sri Lankan citizens have already left the country in search of greener pastures, with their destinations being India, the Middle East and Australia. The island nation of 22 million people is running short of food, cooking gas, fuel and medicine after economic mismanagement and the COVID-19 pandemic wiped out its foreign exchange reserves. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and his ministers have time and again tried to assuage the angry protesters, saying the situation will calm down in coming days. However, neither have been they able to keep up their promises, nor have the citizens shown any trust in the country's leadership. The IMF and other international bodies support is not reaching the country anytime soon, and people know this. And even if it does, it just won't be enough to prevent their life and livelihood plunging into a crisis that won't be over in immediate future to follow in Sri Lanka.
Now we take a look at some happenings in Asia in a segment called Asia Watch.
Hundreds of South Koreans staged a demonstration in Seoul to show their support for truck drivers who are on strike demanding higher pay amid a global surge of fuel prices. Holding candles, around 200 participants from various civic and labor groups and a few of truckers gathered in front of presidential office in Yongsan as talks between government and the truckers were set to resume. The Truckers Union, which is protesting against the soaring fuel prices and demanding guarantees of minimum pay, vowed to continue the strike after 4 rounds of talks with the government failed to find a resolution. The strike is a major test for South Korea's new conservative president Yoon Suk Yeol, raising the risk of eroding his support, distracting from his agenda and sowing the seeds of long-term antagonism with powerful unions. An emergency mock drill on a plane crash rescue operation was conducted at Tribhuvan International Airport in Nepal's capital Kathmandu. It was organized in the wake of increasing aviation accidents in the Himalayan nation, which has also been blacklisted by the European Union due to low standard safety rules on the flight. In the simulation conducted on the edge of the airfield, an en route passenger aircraft with 125 people on board relayed a mayday message and busted into flames upon landing. The aircraft quickly got enveloped in a blaze, and then an emergency rescue team present at the airport started working just before fire extinguishers were called out. Nepal Army ambulances, Nepal police and other people present at the airport began to rescue injured, and took them to nearby hospitals in the ambulance as well as helicopter. According to the rule of the International Civil Aviation Organization, every internationally recognized airport should conduct a full-scale emergency exercise every 2 years.
Japanese company Casio scientific calculators are used by children in a school in Indonesia's capital Jakarta for solving difficult math problems. Japanese company Casio is contributing in different ways to improve education in countries around the world with its Gakuhan project, wherein scientific calculators are being provided to teachers and students in school.
2016年からこの学班活動を本格的に推進しておりまして、これまでですね、教師の方々を中心に関数電卓を活用したトレーニングですとか、探究型数学授業の定着化を図ってまいりました。現在、今ジャカルタ州を中心にエドポート日本プロジェクトを推進しているという状況でございます。
Casio has collaborated with the Japanese education project EduPort Nippon for supporting talented students in Indonesia. Casio's pilot classes are highly evaluated in Indonesian education. Casio is providing scientific calculators to educational sites around the world to help teachers in developing leaders and fulfilling dreams of a number of children. Companies in Japan are introducing Femtech or female technology. This initiative is undertaken by the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry in Japan. Under it, attention is being paid to the health of female employees and not just on superficial beauty. The restrictions caused by the coronavirus pandemic have brought new changes in the beauty industry. People wear masks to cover their mouth. This prompted the beauty industry to come up with an alternate methods to enhance facial appearance. Femtech, the technology of the beauty industry in Japan, will once again attract the attention of the world with beauty appliances.
The holy relics of Lord Buddha that were flown to Mongolia from India to mark Buddha Purnima were displayed at Gandhan Monastery in the capital city of Ulaanbaatar. The 4 relics that were brought by a delegation led by Indian Law Minister Kiran Rijiju were placed in the monastery during a ceremony. People dressed in traditional attires and headgears took out a procession as devotees offered prayers to mark the occasion. Mongolian Parliament Speaker Gombozev Zandansheter thanked the Indian government for bringing Buddha relics to Mongolia. The relics are a part of 22 antiques that were recovered from a site in India's eastern Bihar state, which is believed to be Kapilvastu city.
Moving on, people of illegally occupied Gilgit-Baltistan are fed up with the rampant corruption taking place in the recruitment for various government departments in the region. To raise their voice against the same, the candidates for various posts in the education department held a protest in Skardu to highlight the irregularities in the recruitment process. We have a report.
A group of private school teachers recently demonstrated in Skardu against the discrepancies in the recruitment process of the education department in Gilgit-Baltistan. Having been trying to secure a job as a government teacher for long, the demonstrators said the prevalence of corruption and nepotism in the system, as well as a political intervention, is keeping them devoid of their rights. No matter how hard they try, they are rejected in the interviews, citing several pointless reasons.
मैंने 2010 में मास्टर करके फारिग होके आया हूँ कराची से और टेस्ट दे रहा हूँ शुरू से ही प्राइवेट डिपार्टमेंट के साथ अटैच हूँ और गवर्नमेंट टेस्ट भी दे रहा हूँ क्वालिफाई भी करता हूँ फिर इंटरव्यू में यही करते हैं कि कभी ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस के नाम पर कभी किसी और चीज़ के नाम पर रिजेक्ट कर रहे हैं
Corruption, nepotism and bribery have always remained the prime causes of increasing unemployment and underdevelopment in Gilgit-Baltistan. Government institutions have spawned a culture where recruitment is made based on personal acquaintances, sectarian lines, bribery and other illegitimate practices. credentials are rarely taken into consideration when it comes to hiring or promoting someone. As a result, the government job aspirants in the region have to come out on the roads again and again to demand what belongs to them. In the recent protest held in Skardu, demonstrators said, without displaying any merit or waiting list of the selected teachers, a few favored ones were issued the call letters.
आज जो है हम यहाँ पे एसटी जो है ठीक है क्वालिफाइड टीचर्स की जो रिजल्ट आए हालिया जो है एजुकेशन में, जिसमें जो है ठीक है बहुत सारे जो है बेज़ाब्तगियाँ हुई हैं। बल्तिस्तान रीजन से जो है सबसे ज़्यादा जो हाईएस्ट नंबर 84 नंबर लेने वाले बच्चे जो है ठीक जाहिर वो यहाँ से उसको सेलेक्ट नहीं किए गए हैं और बहुत सारे जो है एतराज़ात है उसमें ना यहाँ पे जो है मेरिट लिस्ट लगाए गए हैं ना वेटिंग लिस्ट लगाए, कुछ भी नहीं है। सिर्फ जो है कैलेंडर दे के जो है फारिग किया है और अंदर से बाद में आने वाले लोगों को खपाने की जो है कोशिश किए जा रहे हैं।
हमारा जो इदारा है महकमा तालीम से हम सब ताल्लुक़ रखते हैं, चूँकि हम प्राइवेट टीचर्स हैं वैसे भी, तो हमें बावसूख ज़राए से पता चला है कि जो वेटिंग लिस्ट का जारी ना किया जाना और उम्मीदवारों को वैकेंट पोजीशंस के होते हुए उन पे तैनाती उनकी ना करना, ये सियासी मुदाखलत है इसके अंदर। हमें बावसूख ज़राए से इस बात का पता चला है। तो हम अपने अरबाब इख्तियार से गुजारिश करते हैं कि कम से कम महकमा तालीम के अंदर सियासी मुदाखलत और जो पॉइंट स्कोरिंग है उससे बाला ताक रख के इस महकमे को आप लोग खुदारा इस महकमे को इज्जत दें। जो कौम इस महकमे को इज्जत देती है वो कौम हमेशा ऊपर गई है, लेकिन जिस कौम ने इस महकमे को इस पेशे को इज्जत नहीं दी है हमेशा वो कौम रूबा ज़वाल हुई।
No matter how much solidarity Islamabad expresses with the people of its illegally occupied Gilgit-Baltistan, but the reality on the ground will always remain contrary to its claims. Be it exploiting their resources or keeping them bereft of their rights, Pakistan has left no stone unturned in pushing their lives towards complete darkness.
The vastness of India's culture can be found in its festivals, and every Indian celebrates festivals with enthusiasm and full of devotion. Snan Yatra, which is also known as Dev Snan Purnima, is one among these traditions, which is observed 15 days before the beginning of famous Rath Yatra or Chariot Festival. It is a holy bath ritual of Lord Jagannath, his elder brother Balbhadra and beloved sister Subhadra. During this ritual, devotees wash away all their sins if they get the vision of Lord and his divine siblings at Snan Mandap at Sri Jagannath Temple. Have a look.
Thousands of devotees thronged to Jagannath Temple in India's eastern Puri city to witness the annual Snan Yatra or Dev Snan Purnima, a ritual of the holy bath of Hindu god Lord Jagannath, his elder brother god Balbhadra and younger sister goddess Subhadra. Snan Yatra is also observed as the birthday of Lord Jagannath, who is considered an incarnation or avatar of Lord Vishnu. On this holy day, the idols are escorted out of the Ratna Simhasan from the Scantum Santorum of the Puri Jagannath Temple and are brought to Snan Bedi early in the morning. This procession called Pahandi is observed on full moon day of the Jyesht month, in which deities are bathed with 108 pitchers of herbal and aromatic water that is taken from the well present inside the Jagannath temple.
आज हम जगन्नाथपुरी के दर्शन करने के लिए आए हैं। ये पूनम का महा स्नान के दर्शन और ये पुण्य का मार्ग होता है, इसमें पाप नाशना, ये धार्मिक उत्सव है।
Dev Snan Purnima is believed to be one of the oldest and exclusive festivals of Lord Jagannath. Even the rituals performed during the occasion are maintained in the Niladri Mahodaya, a religious text written in Oriya language. As per the Skanda Puran, Raja Indrayuma said the bathing ceremony when he installed the wooden deities in the temple. And even till today, this ceremony has maintained its charm and is celebrated with a lot of zeal and enthusiasm among Indians as well as non-Indians, irrespective of their beliefs behind it.
Indian people have so much natural attraction and love to the God. Actually, India is a modern name, but old name Bharatavarsha. Bharata means Bharata. Rati means very big desire, devotional life. Bharata means everybody who was born in Bharatavarsha, such called in India, have natural desire to love to the God. Indian people don't like Western culture. Indian people like their own culture. And I pray to the Lord, India, country number one. And I want all world, American, British, Russian, Chinese, to understand how great Indian culture.
The word Jagannath itself is a self-explanatory word, meaning the Nath of Jagat or God of Universe. Devsnan Purnima is an important ritual of Lord Jagannath and is celebrated just 15 days before the renowned Rath Yatra, a chariot festival of the famous Jagannath temple. It is believed that only once a year that non-Hindus as well as non-Indians get the opportunity to see the idols of the Trinity.
It's time for me to wrap up today's episode. We will be back next week at the same time. This is Yeshi signing off on behalf of the entire production team of South Asia Today. Goodbye and take care.